made the Sorting Table Pro to save people time and money. That's the simple answer, but they pick on me a lot at work and say I can't answer simply, so let me take it a little bit deeper. If you're familiar with our harvesters and seen those tine assemblies, it's a series of wheels near each other with the plastic tines that come out like that and squeeze onto the objects that we're trying to pick up. And those tines, they do a really good job of picking stuff up. I mean, that's what they're designed to do, right? Whether you're a rock, a stick, a good nut, a bad nut, sometimes some leaf trash and litter like that, if those tines can get a hold of you, they're gonna pick you up and put you into the basket on that harvester. For a lot of folks, just picking up nuts to remove them, like maybe acorns from under their oak trees or cleaning the hickory nuts off their driveway, they don't really care if some of that trash is in there. They're gonna take that whole basket and just dump everything out. But if you're after a cash crop like a pecan, or some of you harvest pecans, some of you pecans, so when you are after one of those cash crops, you're gonna wanna sort the good from the bad, and you're gonna also want a way to remove that debris from those nuts so that you can then take them to market or go shell them or continue down that process to try to make a little bit of money. So you might say, in a nutshell, can I say that? You might say, in a nutshell, we made it. Just to give those people that are trying to make a profit from their orchards just one more tool in the lineup, just to kind of help them keep some of that profit in their own pocket. Our new Sorting Table Pro has removable legs and grate. It has a drawbar, or you might call it a hitch bar, so that you can attach it to a vehicle. It has a vibrating electric motor. It has a flat grate that's used for an inspecting area. It has a chute on the back of it that's gonna help you bag or bucket the harvest. It even has a bag hoop that you can bolt to it. And all of these features, they're all designed to be very simple to help you easily maintain and store this unit. So we designed the sorting table to have removable legs for a few reasons, really. We wanted people to have options when they set this thing up, and also when they store it. So for example, like if you want to run the table in your garage or maybe in your driveway, you can put the legs on it, and it's nice. It'll be right there at countertop height, and it just operates as a standalone unit. If you do want to take it out into the field and use it out in your orchard, you can take those legs off and attach what we call the drawbar to it so that you can put it into the receiver on the back of a vehicle. And that's the way I personally like to use it. That way you can take it out and move around in the orchard and just work right out there under your trees if the weather's nice or you have a lot of daylight to work with. We found that when we were testing different designs, if we could add a little bit of vibration to the grating, it really helps speed up the process of removing that debris from the nut. And as far as powering it, standard 110 stuff that you find in your house or your garage is going to run it just fine. If you do take the sorting table out into the field, you can get an inverter. You can find these all over the place for sale. They're very cheap, and they'll convert your vehicle's 12-volt system to 110 so that you can run the sorting table out in the field. I ended up on the flat grate design because when I first started making sorting tables, I was using ramps and chutes, and I realized that the nuts would go by too quick, and if I tried to stop them to really look them over, they would pile up and get so thick that I couldn't actually see them. So I ended up on this flat grate design so that I could take my time. Some years you get a lot of stick tights and you need to slow down and see if you can get some of them off the nut. And some years you don't prep your orchard good and you have a lot of extra little limbs in there. And variables like that make it to where it's just way better if you can control the pace. Well, that's a great question. And actually a lot of my prototypes early on when developing the sorting table, they had wire meshes and different things like that. But I quickly realized that wire or meshes tight enough to stop the pecan from falling through also stopped all the debris that I was wanting to separate from the nuts as well. When I started building prototypes with parallel bars, I instantly saw a decrease in the amount of time that it took to get that debris away from the desired nuts. Those long open gaps, like the ones that you see on our table now, they do exceptionally well at letting the unwanted debris fall through to the ground. And that's especially true when dealing with those long, like needle-like limb tips that come off the pecan trees. Yes, the grate is removable. The main idea behind that is to make handling and storage of the table an easier process. When you go to put this thing up into the barn or attach it to the back of your vehicle, it's just way easier to deal with it when that grate's able to come off and get out of your way. The chute on the sorting table it's really pretty simple. So it's located just to the rear of the grate, and that grate, you use as the inspection area, but once you have the desired nuts there, you dump the grate, all the nuts fall off the grate into the chute. When they're in the chute, gravity forces them to one side. There's a gate on that side, which is hand operated. That gate and chute working with gravity allow you to take those nuts and put them into a container of your choice, like a 5-gallon bucket, a bag, a bin, whatever you want to use. We actually do have a bag hoop that bolts to the lower end of that chute that'll let you put nuts in a bag if you want to. Oh, we should call it a Baganut. There you go. Oh man, the volume question. Productivity. So I get asked this a lot, and I get people want to know, but I always hesitate to give an answer because there's so many variables that can affect your productivity or your output at the end of the day. You know, how motivated are you? How healthy are you? How good of a year is your orchard having? You know, how many nuts are actually out there that year? There's just a lot of variables as farming. You know, but if I had to pick a number, just from my experience when I was building these tables, I was putting about 75 pounds an hour through the sorting process. That year, the trees were doing mediocre. We didn't prep all that well. You know, I was netting about 75 pounds off of a big mature tree that year. I mean, on a good year, when the trees were doing a little bit better and I had gotten there and done my prep a little bit better, you know, I could have easily been at 100 to 120 pounds an hour going across that sorting table. Again, that year we had a lot of debris and we had a lot of stick tights because there was a drought in August, September. The water just wasn't there that the nuts needed to fill out. So it's farming. It's hard to get it predictable from year to year. You know, 75, maybe 100 pounds an hour, you could easily achieve that. Maintenance should be a breeze on this thing. I mean, it does have a vibrating motor on it, so you'll periodically want to check it for loose nuts and bolts. There is no grease points on it, and the motors we're currently running are sealed. So, I mean, at the end of the season, you'll just want to wipe it down real good and make sure that you store it out of the weather. And that's really about all there will be to it. We try to keep things simple. We know people don't want to spend all their time maintaining and tuning up these products because a lot of them are just hobby farmers. If something were to break on it, we're really easy to get a hold of. You can get on our website and get new parts for it, or just give us a call. Our customers are typically small orchard owners who see a lot of variations in their trees' productivity from year to year, and they can't justify or don't want to maintain or even perhaps look at commercial equipment on their property. If that's you, I think you could really benefit from one of our sorting tables. They're relatively cheap when you compare them to commercial cleaners and separators, and they're way easier to maintain and store. Most importantly, it gives you, the small orchard owner, a chance to keep more of that profit in your own pocket. If that's you, give us a call. Check us out on the web. I don't know. That's my last words. Go nuts, people.